YouTube channel. This is Felix Art. This is the part 6 on how to use Sketchbook app. So guys, in this tutorial I'll be showing you how I'm going to add the background. So first I will go to the last reference, then open it. Now I will head over to this particular layer, then click the plus button to create a new layer. So once I've created the new layer, then I'll go back to the reference, then reduce the opacity, then go back to this background here, then take it back to white. Okay, now I'm using the paint tamperd to draw the sketch line. So what I'll do is that I'll use the tool, then use the black color, then reduce the size. I'm going to reduce size to 4.0. Okay. So now I will use the predictive stroke, set it to level 5. Then start sketching. So guys, you can see how I'm using the tool to sketch. Then draw a line like this. So now I have to create a new layer to add this line right here. Then I'll use the transform, then drag it like this. Something like this. Okay. Now I'll use the predictive stroke, set it to level 5, then complete this other sketch. Draw some lines like this. then draw something like this. You can see. Now once I'm done with that part, then I will head over to this side, draw the lines like this. I'm going to click on duplicate, then click transform and drag it like this, and use the hard eraser to erase. Now I'm going to add the auto sketch. Then use the hard eraser to erase. Then join this place. Now head over to this place again, using that same 4.0. Now I'll use the predicted stroke, then add this line. So now once I'm done with that part, then I will check if then you will check if there's any place that you haven't sketched. So once everything looks good, then you can use the hard eraser to start erasing. You have to close the predicted stroke, then use your hard eraser to erase all these parts that are not needed again. Sorry. So now, guys, I have to merge some layers so that it's very easy for me to erase those parts that I don't want. So now, once I'm done merging, then I use the hand eraser to erase. So make sure to erase sorry. So make sure to erase those parts that you don't need. That's also the rough sketch. So now, guys, once you are done with the sketch, then I have to add some. Let me I have to color this earring. So what I will do here is that I will go to this. I'll go to this to this layer right here, then create a new one. Then I can use any color I want. I can use any color I want. Then start coloring. Now I'm going to lock it. Once I lock it, then I use I can change the color. I can use a gray color to add some shadows. Add some shadows. Then use white color to add some details. So now guys, I have to use the color picker to pick from the reference. So now before I start picking the color, I'm going to go back to this particular layer, then create a new one. So once I've created the new layer, now I'll use the color picker to pick from the reference, then I start coloring. So like, you make sure that this one is above the foundation. Okay, I have to take this one down. Okay, so like I want this one to be above, so that once I'm adding the color, it won't affect. So now I will go to this place, then add the color. Add the color. So as I'm adding the color, let's say I'm going to add it from this place. Now I'm going to close the reference, then start adding, then add the color. So once you have done adding, then use the hard eraser to erase those parts that you don't want. So make sure to erase every part so that it won't affect the picture itself, like the artwork itself. Like, you have to erase every part that you don't need. So once I'm done with the first one, then I use the eraser to erase the light bulb. you have to erase those parts too. So now I'll use the going to use the selection mode, then tap on it, then go back to the foundation, then use the hand eraser to erase. So that's very easy. So now I'm going to create a new layer again, then to be under, then I'll go back to the reference, open the reference, then now I'm going to use going to start with this one right here. I will pick from this spot. Then go back to that. Make sure that you are in the second layer. Then color something like this. So once you color something like this, then I'll also color the seats. Then color both this one again. So once you color both sides, now you will go over here, then close the reference, then use the hard eraser. Use the hard eraser to erase. First, I will go back to the background, then reduce it. Then erase those parts you don't want. Then use the hard eraser again to erase those parts you don't want. So now once I'm done with that part, make sure to erase very well. So once I'm done with that part, then I'll go back to the reference again, open it, then use the color picker to select from this place. Make sure to create a new layer again. You will go down here, then create a new layer, then you color it, color this one, then I'll color this one also. Okay, then I'll color this one also, then color this one, then color this one. So once I'm done with that part, then I'll close the reference again. Then use the hard eraser, but then, before I start to using the hard eraser, I will increase the background. Then use the hard eraser to erase. So once I'm done with that part, then I'll go back to the reference again, then use the color picker. Use the color picker. I'll use the color picker to pick from this particular side. Then make sure to open another layer. Then add. So now this one is for the seats. That's for the seats. Okay. That's for the seats. So once you add that part, then you close the reference. Then use the hard eraser to erase again. How to raise this sketch again. How to raise this sketch. Okay, then I'll go back to that last foundation. Okay, so now I'm going to create a new layer again. Then go back to the reference. So once you open it, then use the color picker to pick from this side. Then you add. So once you are done adding, then use the hard eraser to erase this part. So now once I'm done with that, then you can use the color picker to pick any color you want. So I'm going to use something like this. I'll use color like this. Then create the last background, the last layer. Then you can add this one. I'll use the hard eraser to erase. Now everything is every color I added here, they are in different layer. So now I'll show you how to shade the how to shade each and every one. So So now I'll show you how to shade, but first before I start shading, I'm going to color the necklace. I'll go over to this one here, then lock the layer. So once I lock it, now I'll go back to the reference, open the reference, then I'll close this foundation. Close this foundation. Okay, so now I'll use the color picker. Use the color picker to pick something like this. Then adjust the color. Adjust the color. Okay. So now once I've adjusted the color, then I'm going to close the reference. Then go back to this particular one right here. Then I start coloring it like this. You just add the color like this. Okay. So once you add that one, that one over there, now what you do here is that you will create a new layer. I'll go to this place here, then create a new layer. Then use the color picker to pick from the previous one that we used. Then I will change the saturation. Then I'll add it like this. I have to take it to this point here, to the side right here. Okay. So once you are done adding this color, like you have to be very careful when adding it. Now you can lock it. So once you lock it, then use the hard airbrush to do some detailing. Now to go back to this reference to know how okay. So it's something like this. It's like an H. Or something like V. And so once I'm done with that one, then make it a little bit dark. Then add some highlights. 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 Then I'm going to use the flow airbrush, do something like this. Add some shadows, then add some highlights, and here also. and put a reflection over here. There's something here like this. So once I'm done with that part, then I'll go back to the okay, then I'll make here a little bit dark. I will head over to this place, this one right here, then I'll make here dark. I'm going to use the flow airbrush, make it a little bit dark. Okay, something like this. Now I'm going to create the going to add some coloring to the neck to the chain to make it look more vibrant. Use some white color. Let's see, something like that. Okay, so once I'm done with that part over there, just add some little highlights on the chain to make it look real. So once I'm done adding those ones, then I will. So now you go back to each layer, then you just lock it. I'm going to lock it out. Like I will lock every layer for the I'm going to lock every background layer, like the foundation. You have to lock everything. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that is six foundation that we have for the car, like the inside. So once I lock this one right here, now I'm going to open the reference at the top, this particular one. Then I'm going to duplicate. I will close one, then I will use the one at the top here. Then I'm going to drag it to this point right here. Okay, so I'm going to keep it at this place right here. Okay, so now I'm going to start with the first foundation, this one. Now you use the color picker to pick from the foundation, then reduce the color down, just take the color down, then you add something like this. Let's take it down again. And something like this. Add something like this. You just have to use the flow airbrush to add. Take it down again. Then you do something like this. Then I'm going to increase the size to something like this. I'll head over here again, add something like this. Now I'm going to increase the lights. Then I'll put something like this over here. Then add another highlights over here. can see. Now I'm going to use the color picker to go to this particular place, then add this side, just make it a little bit dark but not much, then use the highlight color, then reduce size, then you add something like this. Now I'm going to use the hard airbrush to add that white color, then increase it, then just do something like this. Okay. Now I'm going to go back to this particular side, then add something like this. Just add the shadow. Okay. So once I've added the shadow, so once I've added the shadow, how to add more shadows again, like how to add more. I'm going to add more shadows. Now at this point I'm going to use the floor airbrush to add this shadow over here. So once I add that part, so once I'm done with the first layer, just make sure to, like, you have to check if you added everything there, everything that you, like, you make sure to add every shadow, like every details. Okay, see. So once I'm done with that first part, now I'll show you how to add then you move to the second layer, that's the seats. So now I'll use this tool. I'm going to use the first of all, like, I'll use the floor airbrush, use the color picker to pick from the seats, then put out something like this. So once I add something like this, now I'm going to increase the light. Use the color picker, increase the light, and take it like this. Well, I added too much light. I'm going to use the hard airbrush. Okay. So now once I'm done with that first part, now I'm going to use the this tool, the rough charcoal, but at this time I'm going to create a new layer just to add this tool. So now I'm going to use the color picker to change it to something like this, then use the transform, then take it like this. Let's take it to this side. Now I'm going to use the hard eraser to erase. So now once I'm done with that part, now I'll head over to this one right here. That's the third foundation. Use the color picker, then reduce the color, take it down, like you just make it dark, and you start adding some shadings like this. See, let's add something like this. Once you add both sides, now use the so once I'm done adding those parts, then I'll use the smudge brush, take the flow to 4%, then start blending like this. Then drag it like this again. Now once I'm done with that part, then I'm going to create lights. Use the predator stroke, then add this. Let's add something like this over here. Okay, that's the first one. Then add another one here again. So now once I'm done adding on the side, then I'll add another. I will close the predator stroke, then add these highlights over here, then add shadows. I will reduce the color down, like just make it dark, then add shadows. Add another shadow here again. So once I'm done adding that side, then I'll move to the fourth layer. Then use the color picker to select from the reference, from the foundation. Then increase the lights a bit, increase the color a bit, then add something like this. Like you don't need to add much. Just going to do something like this. Then make here a little bit dark. Okay, you can see. Then I'm going to color this side. So like that is the back seat. Then I'll move over here again. Use that same color to add some shadows. Okay. Now I'm going to take it to this white section. Like you just increase the light. Like you don't need to do exactly what is inside the like you don't have to do exactly what's on the car itself. So I'll just show you how to add some details using the flow airbrush. Okay. So once I'm done with that part, just make here, just use the color picker, just make here dark. It's make here dark. Okay. So once that place is dark, use then add another white line here again. Now then you go back to the to the 5th layer. Okay, use the color picker to pick from the foundation, then use this hard airbrush to add some shadows. Now once you add that part, now use the then just take it to white color, then you add go back here again, then use the floor airbrush to do something like this, just to reduce the white color. So once you are done with that part, now we'll go back to this side. So once that place is locked, then you use the hard eraser, the floor airbrush, take the color down, then you do something like this. Going to do something like this. Just use the hard airbrush to add this shadow. Then I will go back to this one, then add the same shadow here again. Just take the color down, then add that shadow. Okay, once you are done with that place, now you go over to the previous layer. And now use the color picker, select from the foundation. Now just do something like this. Then use white color. To add the highlights. Okay, you just put some white stuff. Just do something like this. So once you are done with that particular place, now I'm heading over to this layer right here, this one. I'll use the color picker, pick from it, then reduce the color down to that color, then trace it to this color. Use the floor airbrush. Add something like this. Now I'm going to use the paint tamperd. Take it down, just reduce the color down, then use the paint tamperd to add this color. Add this color. So once you add that one, then you can increase the light again. Then you add. So if there's any place that you don't understand, you can ask me. Questions on Facebook. Just message me on Facebook, then ask your questions. But before I can answer, make sure to watch the complete video. Like, you have to watch the part 1, part 2, part 3, watch up all the whole parts, then you can ask a question, because there are some people that will ask question without watching the full video. Then I use a smudge brush to blend this particular place. Okay, so like we are almost done. Then this seat, we haven't shaded the seats. So now, like, we still use that same tool again, but before we use that tool, I'm going to use the hard eraser to erase this side first. Okay, now then I will go back to this seats. I'm using the flow airbrush. Use the color picker to pick from the seats. Then you do something like this. Just add some shadows. Okay, add some shadows to that place. Yeah, once you add it, then you increase the lights. You add this one right here. So now you don't need to add much light. Okay, so once I'm done with that part, then I'll go back to the other seats, take the color down, then add something like this. Then complete this other place. Add the other one. Then add some highlights. Then increase the flow airbrush. Then add the final touch. And I'll go back to this layer right here. Then use the hard airbrush. I'm using black, white, and gray color to add all these highlights. Then you can use the smudge brush, take the flow to 1%, then just to make it look smooth. So once I'm done with that part, then it's remaining the handle. The handle, I will go over to this layer right here. Then use the hard airbrush. Just use the color picker, take it down to this minimum color, like then you add some shadows. then you increase the lights, then you add some highlights. Then use the smudge brush to blend. Just take the flow to 4%, then blend. Okay, so now we'll head over to the last handle. Use the paint tamperd to make here dark. Then use the smudge, the hard airbrush to add another one here again. Then increase the light to white color. Then you add the final touch, final detail. So guys, that's the last one. Okay. So guys, that's last one. Okay, like we haven't added some. We need to shade the light bulb. I will go to this layer right here. Then add some. Just add anything that I want. Just I'll use the hard airbrush. Just add some little things like this. Just do some rough sketch. Then use the white color to do something like this. Something like this. Then you can use this smudge brush to blend. Something like this. So now that's the final one. So guys, that is the final